There is a Sahabi by the name of Hazrat Abu Basir radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He comes up to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam and he says, Ya Rasulullah, I love you. Rasulullah looks at him almost with a little bit of grief and sadness, and he says, Abu Basir, if you truly love me, then be ready to face the hard times, because my love takes tests. Yes, my dear brothers, if you love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's not simply an acknowledgement, a statement. You have to stand by that statement no matter what kind of test come your way. Abu Basir also faced a test. During the Treaty of Hudaybiyyah, all of you, I'm sure, are accustomed to it, it was considered not in favor of the Muslims at the time, yet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam himself signed it. One of the treaties was that if a Muslim escapes Makkah, goes to Medina, they must return the Muslim back to the kafirs, to the citizens of Makkah, to do with him what they will. But if from Medina a non-Muslim escapes, then they have no right to take that non-Muslim back. Unbelievably unfair clauses. Abu Basir unfortunately was caught by the non-Muslims. He, however, escaped, and he had they're called zanjire. They're called small little handcuffs on the feet, and they have inward facing points that dig into the ankles and the feet, so it makes running very difficult. Abu Basir, using those, runs from Makkah to Medina, comes to Rasulullah. The Makkans, the non-Muslims, the mushrik, they send 2 guards after Abu Basir. Abu Basir, imagine the desert, running with these torture devices on the feet of Abu Basir. He enters into Medina. As soon as he enters, he says, Ya Rasulullah, I am here. Ya Rasulullah, I am here. I have escaped Medina. As soon as he had entered the Sihn of Masjid al-Nabwi, the guards had caught up to him. And they say, O Nabi of Allah, remember the clause that you signed off on. This is an escaped Muslim. He must be received. He must be resent back to Makkah. Rasulullah looks to Abu Basir and he says, O Abu Basir, I am a Nabi of Haqq and Adl. Imagine 2 non-Muslims. This is the capital of the Muslims. The Muslims, if they wanted, could have recaptured Abu Basir, set him free, and killed these non-Muslims. But Rasulullah stood by his conviction, by his words. He says, Abu Basir, go with them. So Abu Basir, he leaves, and as he's leaving, he says, Abu Basir, wait for me. I will call upon you once again. So Abu Basir, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, as he gets to the outskirts of of Medina, he notices that the guards have become a little lazy, relaxed. So he snatches a sword from one of the captors, and he uses it to kill one of the guards. The other guard notices this, runs away. He has this sword in his hand now, and he cuts off his shackles. As he cuts off his shackles, he begins to think to himself. He says, well, I can't go back to Medina. Rasulullah has said no. I can't go to Makkah. They will capture me. So where should I go? He begins to walk, and he gets to a small little valley that's called Al-Is. It was a little jungle to a small distance away from Medina. And he begins to live there. And it becomes famous as a safe haven for the Muslims because they can't go to Medina. So anyone who escapes, they go there. Over 300 people join Abu Basir. But Abu Basir, the way he survives is he eats leaves. And he's working day in and day out. And imagine living in the jungle with nothing. How do you protect yourself from the cold, from the heat, from the animals, from hunger, from anything? He's having to make do. And Abu Basir was not a young individual, he was an elderly individual. So he began to get sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. Eventually the Treaty of Hudaybiyyah falls apart. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he gives orders from everyone to go and attack the non-Muslims if you see them. The non-Muslims are so in shock and in awe of the people of Al-Is. These 300 people are wreaking havoc on their caravans, that they go to Rasulullah and say, O Rasulullah, call back the people of Al-Is, call back Abu Basir. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he writes a letter to Abu Basir. Now, unbeknownst to all, Abu Basir is using his very last breaths on his deathbed. And the individual say, Abu Basir, you seem to be clawing to life. Are you scared of death? Abu Basir smiles. He says, no, I am not scared of death, but I know death will not come, because the Rasulullah had said, Abu Basir, I will call upon you. Until I hear that call of Rasulullah, death will not come near me. All of a sudden, a rider comes from the direction of Medina, comes running in, and he says, oh Abu Basir, here is a letter from Rasulullah. He calls upon you. He grabs the letter. Abu Basir is lying on the ground, hugs it, and he says, my Nabi always speaks the truth. My Nabi always speaks the truth. And he's repeating these words, and repeating these words, he passes away. This was the conviction of the companions. Abu Basir is known as the hero of Hudaybiyyah. My dear brothers, use these names, literally illuminate your lives with these companions. Write their names within the chambers of your heart, because these are individuals that motivate us. Imagine an individual who ate leaves, but his conviction was so strong. Rasulullah has said, I will eat leaves, no problem. It is the Nabi of Allah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to become heroes of today, like Abu Basir was the hero of Hudaybiyyah.